Brandon's been in the rotation all season long, and he's getting better every game. Just because of Isaiah's injury, he's been inserted into the lineup, and he's been competing hard, playing good. So we just want consistent play from all our guys.
Dana?
Juwan, what do you like most about the double ball screen set at the top of the key? Is that something that you plan to incorporate more? Is it something that you were maybe toying with on Saturday?
It was just a play that I felt we can take a look at and see if we can put our opponent at a disadvantage. And we were able to score some buckets off of it. But yeah, we have a lot of different play sets.
Over here with John.
Quick follow-up on Brandon. What is the difference between, say, a talented big man that might be a little tentative and one that shows the kind of confidence that he did on Saturday?
I'm sorry, I don't understand your question.
Well, if you have a guy that is really talented, but he's not forceful, and then you have somebody that seems to have gained the kind of confidence that Brandon has, how better off is he in that way?
I'm sorry, I'm lost.
That's okay. He just
I don't know what you're trying to get at. I mean,
he
like,
seems to have
this
gained
is a question.
I'm sorry. He seems to have gained a lot of confidence and is playing better partly because of that. Just wondering if you would agree with that, or.
Well, it's basically like this in basketball. Well, when you have consistent minutes that's being thrown your way, and because you earned it, you get a better rhythm. And for Brandon, he's able to have a better rhythm out there in the game because he's playing more. It's very challenging when you don't know when you will play 3 minutes or 5 minutes, or you may play 10 minutes or 12 minutes. But with Brandon, he's been able to capitalize and be effective with every minute that he's given throughout the season with his energy and effort.
All right.
Juwan, you have an update on Isaiah's status, his recovery, and do you expect him back for his 2 games this week?
He's improving. Hopefully he'll get better soon. Do you want to watch the football game?
The Super Bowl?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Awesome.
Did you like it?
I loved it.
You were rooting for the Chiefs?
Yes, I was.
Oh.
Andy Reid, I'm a big fan of his.
Hard not to root for Andy Reid.
Yeah, it's like one day when I grow up, I want to be like Andy. People just really love Andy.
People do love him.
Yeah, he's a great coach, big heart. Players enjoy playing for him. Smart guy, hard worker. Wherever he goes and coaches, his team always does well. So I want to be like Andy when I grow up.
He's got a hell of a quarterback too.
That helps.
Hey, let me ask you just about kind of where you see your team right now. You've got 10 games to play. You're third from the bottom in the Big Ten standings. When you look at this team, what are the things that you guys need to really do on a consistent basis to kind of to gain some ground and make a good push toward March?
Well, we have to have luck on our side. And what do I mean by that? Good health. We need good health from each and every one of our guys in order to make a big run for this season. And, we gained some traction, but you got to have a healthy group when you play in the Big Ten. It's a super competitive conference, very physical conference. A lot of teams are very good defensively. You see them more than once, so pretty much you can scout on what some of your team's strengths, what are some of the weaknesses. You have really good coaches in this league, so you need everyone, all hands on deck.
Andrew?
Juwan, Franz said something recently that stuck with me about how in Europe it's more of a kind of a team game, and coming here he had to kind of change his mindset to be more aggressive one-on-one. I'm wondering, you probably had a lot of European teammates in your NBA career. Do you find that to be true, that there is sort of, those players have to kind of adjust to this style of game?
I'm not sure. I don't know what Franz is referring to, but I'm sure Franz can explain it to you better than I can.
I guess, okay, then have you seen him, over the last 2 or 3 weeks kind of become more of that player? He sees he's got an advantage and he looks to score instead of pass?
Franz Johns is a very talented ball player that can do many things out there on the floor, and we've asked him for, to be aggressive with his role, and he's taking good advantage of it by shooting the ball from the outside, driving the ball to the basket, making free throws, making threes, defending. I'm sure that's something that has been a big role of his throughout the year, something I'm not sure what was asked of him last year, but he's been able to accept that challenge, so he's been playing very good basketball for us.
Brendan?
After 25 years in the league, is it a little jarring now that to kind of go back to the college season where it seems like this thing just started and there's 10 games left in the regular season, everyone's talking about the tournament, it's just not near as drawn out, obviously.
Well, I guess in college, man, you have, 36 to 38 games at most throughout the season. NBA, you have 82 games just in the regular season. So NBA games just happen, so 4 and 6 nights. In college, you may have 2 to 3 games in 12 nights. Yeah, it is a little bit more drawn out. It helps you prepare a little bit better as a coach and player because you have 3 to sometimes 4 days to prepare. So it helps a lot. NBA is just fast. It's moving so quickly.
And then what about for you, especially kind of in the player development area where you especially did all this stuff with the Heat, kind of working with guys one-on-one, it's just so much more compact now. Do you find it's a little bit harder to maybe get guys where you want them to be as soon as you need them to be because you don't have months and months and months to do it? It's just so restricted.
I just wish the NCAA rules would change when it comes to player development. When you're able to work with your guys in the off season, you only allow 4 hours per week. In the NBA, you can work with a guy 4 hours and in 1 day and not be penalized for it. During the season, you're only allowed to work with your guys, including weightlifting, film, practice. You get 4 hours total throughout the day. You're also guaranteed to give them an off day, and you get 14 other days of off days where you have to sprinkle it in throughout the season. Yes, you get less time to develop your guys than you want as a coach, and I'm sure a lot of coaches can attest to this. If we're trying to help the student athlete and develop them, yes, balance it out where they're able to go to school and not affect their academics. Would I love to spend more time working on the court with our players? I would enjoy that. Not saying I will burn them out, but I enjoy the player development aspect of building the skill set and teaching. I even love just sitting down one-on-one and having film sessions with our players, just to help them be the best versions of themselves by learning the game in different lenses, allowing them to have input on what they see out there on the floor. But the time is so precious that you only get a certain amount of hours to work with them. But that's just like my 2 cents. If anyone ever asks me, that would be one of the things that I would definitely petition for.
Juwan, in the second half against Rutgers, I think the only sub was Austin. So what did you see from Rutgers and maybe your team that kind of dictated that thinking and went into your thinking?
Yeah, it was a very hard play, very intense physical second half. Like any part of the game, first or second half, every possession counts, every possession matters. I felt comfortable with the group that we had on the floor. I kept looking at those 4 guys, making sure they were not fatigued throughout the process. Also, I was looking at Xavier just to make sure that he wasn't gassed or anything like that. But it was fortunate where we had some timeouts, and this is where the college game really helps a lot with these timeouts, with TV timeouts, as well as the timeouts that they give each team. It allows your players to rest when you feel that it's needed. So, subbed Austin because John got in foul trouble, and I wanted to make sure I preserve him without getting a fourth foul earlier in the game, like with 10 minutes to go in the second half. But the other 4 guys, I just felt comfortable with that group.
James?
Juwan, what stands out to you about Ohio State?
Well, they have great inside play. Their guard play out is doing a really good job of shooting the basketball. They pretty much have 4 to 5 stickers, I would say, that can shoot the 3-ball very well. They're quick. They do an excellent job of attacking the offensive glass. They're an excellent defensive team, one of the top defensive teams in the league. So, you know, they're down there with us. I'm sure everyone recall the time early in the year where we both was up at the top. Like I said before, it's the beginning of the season, man. You know, you have a lot of season to be played. But it's also an example of the Big Ten. You know, we have a really good conference, but it's a lot of season to be played. And I'm sure Ohio State they scratching and clawing and talking about how important this game is going to be tomorrow, and so are we.
Yeah, you mentioned you guys kind of had a similar trajectory. I guess what's the key for any team to kind of navigate those highs and lows during the season?
Well, you got to manage what you can manage, and that's called control the controllable. So with our group, we got to find out areas of how we can get better and maintain the consistency. I touched on it before. Yes, injury plays a role, but no one feels sorry for you for that one. You can't foresee any of the injuries happening. You got to go with what you have and keep plugging away, keep coaching, and keep grinding.
Take a couple more. Ash?
With their defense, they're pretty efficient at defending against 2-point shots, Ohio State. What's like the challenge, I guess, in game of making sure guys aren't settling for quick threes or deep mid-range shots in those situations and kind of getting into a flow offensively?
My theory is take the open shot. And if you open it, take the next open shot. The key is read the game and time and situation. That's important as well.
With Jennifer and then close with Brendan.
Obviously, we've already kind of touched on the fact that the Big Ten is so competitive this year, and it's been really kind of a crazy season in the conference. But the fact that there's not a single Big Ten team with a winning road record, how important is it to really capitalize on your opportunities at home?
Well, you know, speaking of that road record, you know, we played the MSG, and that was a long way from Ann Arbor. But it was a home game for us. But then, if I recall, I think I saw more Rutgers red shirts than I saw Maize and Blue. I'm not saying I was looking at the stands, but I just heard the energy from Rutgers. Does that count as a road game? Because, like, I wasn't in Chrysler. Our guys was not playing in Chrysler seeing the rim, you know, like the beautiful Maze Rage group and our band, our locker rooms. But it was a great atmosphere. Now, getting back to your question, it's been interesting to see, you know, throughout the year that the Big Ten has been so competitive, but their teams haven't done well on the road. It's only been one or two teams that have done a pretty good job on the road, but we've been fighting and clawing. We haven't had much success on the road. We will continue to keep staying within the process, competing hard, and look forward to winning games on the road because that's important if you want to try to get the best seed possible at the end of the year before you get to the Big Ten tournament. But what's in front of us right now is Ohio State, and that's tomorrow, so we got to take one game at a time.
I know you guys are moving on from last week and Xavier's situation, but I do wonder when you have something like that come up, you know, in season, if as a coach, that's something that you kind of use to as a challenge or whatever it may be to a player, or if it's just kind of, you know, removed from his play or his kind of standing in the team, if that makes sense.
I'm sorry.
Like if that's just kind of an isolated thing and it's just, you know, you just deal just with that thing, or if you use whatever happened to, you know, challenge him as a player or a leader or whatever it may be.
Well, first, when I took this job, I knew it was more than just X's and O's. I would have to be prepared for situations where you have to teach a young man how to become a responsible man. And during that process, I welcomed it. And knowing that there are certain standards that we have to abide by as a citizen here in the States, and then looking at it from perspective of being a student athlete here at the University of Michigan, we expect our student athletes to be responsible, to respect team policies, and when they do not follow it, there are, things that come behind it that some of you may not agree with. Unfortunately for us, one of our players happened to, and I don't care if you're the best player or if you're the guy who hadn't seen any minutes, some would say the 16th guy on our roster. Everyone is treated equal. Everyone have to do everything that's asked of them and be responsible. So now I love how our team has rallied behind their brother, and meaning Xavier, and Xavier has accepted his responsibility, and now it's important for us to all move on.
Okay, Coach.